we are going to respond to a prompt now, picking out the 3 steps along the way to writing an essay. Whenever we're having to write an essay on demand, someone gives us a prompt, whether it's a state test or a college essay or whatever it is, there's usually some kind of a prompt for on-demand writing. So this one, let's imagine that we have an on-demand prompt that says, write an essay to explain what perseverance means, what perseverance looks like. And we think about how people can do superhuman feats if it's for something that they really care about. That's going to lead us to writing this essay about what perseverance means. Prompts usually have something to do with a concept like that, or the meaning of friendship, or the importance of whatever quality it is, the importance of integrity, the importance of responsibility, the importance of honesty, etc. So this one's about perseverance. Okay, so there are 3 steps. 1, we have to think of what our point is, what truism we're going to be laying out there as our main point. Secondly, we're going to pick out a text structure. And third, we will make a kernel essay that goes with that text structure and try it out and see if we like how it sounds. So these are the 3 steps right here. First, it's a truism. We have to make up a truism about our topic, which in this case is perseverance. Second, we'll pick out a structure. What are we going to use to make our points move from one point to the next? And third, we're going to try out our idea using that structure by writing a kernel essay. Okay, I'm going to just walk through this one. This one comes from the fairy tale called The Wild Swans. The Wild Swans happens to be my very favorite fairy tale. And it's about a little girl whose brothers all get turned into swans. And she has to knit jackets for them out of prickly, thorny nettles while never speaking a word. And she has to knit them all, jackets, and put them on them before the spell is broken. And if she says one word while she's knitting, they all drop dead. It's a terrible situation for her. And it takes her years to get these things knitted without speaking a word. In the story, you could read this story, The Wild Swans. It's a condensed short story from the original, but she has a lot of perseverance. So what can I use for my first step, which is a truism? What do I think is true about perseverance? Well, I don't like the word perseverance. I want to use other words. Sometimes to do what you want, you have to just forge ahead and not stop. I really do think that's true. I think I'm going to use something like that for my truism. If you really want something, you don't give up. That's my truism. If you really want something, you don't give up. It could also say perseverance means not giving up. Okay, there's my truism. I'm going to start with that. That's what my whole paper is going to show. So now my next step is to pick out a structure that's going to help me tell other people how true that truism is. What makes me think it's true? So what does make me think it's true? Here I have a page of structures to choose from. I could choose any structure in the world I wanted, but this kind of narrows it down to 5 good ones. So I think I'm going to choose the bottom one called Crossing My Path. This structure says a real-life example, a truism, an example from the story that I just happen to have there, The Wild Swans, how it relates to me today, and a question I'd like to ask about that truism. That's my structure. So there are 5 things I need to write here. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my kernel essay portion of this paper right here, because I know I'm going to say 5 things. And each one of these is just a sentence. So the first one is, What's a real life example of something that somebody wants really badly and they didn't give up? The Winter Olympics are going on, and every single athlete there is there because they didn't give up. They really wanted to compete in the Olympics, and they never gave up. So I'm number one. Olympic athletes must really want to compete in the Olympics, and so they don't give up. I think that's true. So they don't give up. I didn't leave myself enough space, so I'm having to cram it in a little. That's okay, it's just a kernel essay. We can change anything about it we don't like. And then the truism. That's the second step in my structure. So what's the truism? I've already got that written, so I just need to put it. If you really want something, you don't give up. Should I say you or should I say people? If people really want something, they don't give up. That sounds more serious. I'm going to use that. When people really want something, comma, they don't give up. D-O-N''T because it's a contraction. 3, the third part is, what's an example from this story? Well, if I just read The Wild Swans, I know that this poor little girl named Eliza, she really wanted her brothers to survive as humans and to break the spell, so she did not give up on knitting them scratchy, horrible jackets. In The Wild Swans, I'm going to abbreviate it because I know what I'm talking about here. In The Wild Swans, Eliza really wanted to break the spell for her brothers, to break her brother's spell, comma. So she did not give up. Should I say give up? She didn't, give up. I can change words later. On her knitting. I'll make that stronger later too. The main point's down. So number 4 on this is, let's see, I have my real life example, a truism, an example from this story, how it relates to me today. How does this relate to me today? What's something I want so much that I am not going to give up on it? I want our schools to be safer for our students. I really want that. And so I am going to do whatever I can to change our gun laws. I know you may feel differently, but that's me. I want our schools to be safe, so I will work to change laws. The last step is a question about my truism. So for me, in this truism, if you really want something, you don't give up. What question do I have? I wonder how many people will have to want this for us all not to give up on it? That's my question. How many people does it take to want the same thing and make a change? And that's my kernel essay. Now, this will be a controversial essay. I know a lot of people have very, very strong feelings about this one issue. So there's what the kernel essay looks like. And it's all about, if you really want something, you don't give up. Olympic athletes must want to compete in the Olympics, so they don't give up throughout their training. When people really want something, they don't give up. There's my truism. How's it true in a story? In The Wild Swans, Eliza really wanted to break her brother's spell, so she did not give up on her excruciating knitting. I want our schools to be safe, so I will work to change the laws. I wonder, how many people does it take to want the same thing and make a change? That's my kernel essay. All I need to do now is write the structure that I used right here, and it's going to be just a matter of copying the structure here, and then I'm ready to do some explaining about each of these parts to turn each sentence into a full paragraph. And that's how we do a kernel essay, starting with a truism, running it through a choice of text structures, and then seeing about a kernel essay for each part. Hope you enjoy reading The Wild Swans and that you enjoy reading all of the prompts that go with these stories, choosing text structures and trying out kernel essays for all of them. We love those fairy tales, and we like life, and we want our schools safe. So our process was starting with a prompt and then answering the prompt with a truism, choosing a structure that would work for it. I didn't mean 6 boxes, I meant 5. And then writing one sentence for each box that makes a kernel essay to read and see how it flows. Not sure this one flows very well. I would probably revise it, but it's a good starting point. Now, if I like it, I'm going to take each sentence and expand it to be a paragraph, and that's my kernel essay.